What up? What up? What up? Grand Risings to you all. All right. No, I don't want to do that. Damn, it's on. You know what I mean? It's good with you. It's good with you. It's good with you. Grand Risings, how you doing, family? Up early. Trying to figure out what we can talk about. What more can we talk about? What assistance can I offer to the people? What information are the people looking for? Right? I'm not the greatest content creator. Shit, still figuring out how to do all this shit here, you know? But getting it together. Yeah. There's a war going on outside, man. Safe, right? Spiders are like paratroopers, man. On everything, you know. Where y'all at? Where you from? Where you reside? As soon as I get my wake and bake together, I'm gonna get into this. This is the prequel. Everybody coming in and jumping out now. Once it start popping, it'll start popping, I'm sure. How you doing, Peter? How you doing? Is it's real estate. Peace, more. How you doing, family? By the way, I'm glad that you jumped in, man. I really enjoyed your just that one post on your page. That's 100, man. Had me really thinking, you know. See if we can.
Who?
Peace, family.
Peace, man. How's everything, brother?
All is well. Thank you for asking. How about yourself, man?
Hey, man, I'm cooling, man. I finally made it to a Mexim, man.
You finally made it to a maxi.
Yeah,
Which part? What we talking about? Maxim
I
is all
finally.
you.
So the whole thing about a Mexim, right? It's basically the demarcation of our jurisdiction in the United States. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, like, the birth certificate is proof of your covenant under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But the rights, title, and interests therein, thereof, however they want to talk, right? That is demarcated. Nobody ever used that word. So everybody's rights, titles, and interests is demarcated for the Chinese, for the Moorish, for the Irish, right? Because the Chinese is in their own jurisdiction in the United States. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because their bloodline is demarcated. Everything must be demarcated in the United States because it's a it's commerce, it's business. And demarcation comes from land. So so basically the birth certificate is just proof of you being born on the land. And
Yeah, that's
then
all it is. It's just evidence that you're from a particular, or that you have an estate in a particular place.
yeah, and all you have to do is just express the particular place, y'all. Cause I've done it already. They understand, but it's just
So how does it benefit what you've done? What benefits have come along with you,
all right.
along with
So
the
so
recognizing?
let's say my name is John Henry Doe, right?
Mm.
I create another entity that's John Henry Doe, and I've completed the other side of the ledger. You get what I'm saying? So
No,
when
I follow. I'm just trying to real
right,
time, real
so
world. What
yeah, so when in the real world you have to create the same entity they made at birth, right? It doesn't. It's not supposed to say trust or any. It's supposed to just say first, middle, and last, the same way they did it at birth, right? Obviously, it has to be like foreign or international. You know what I'm saying?
it has to
Morocco,
be foreign? Why? I don't understand that part. I never understood
because be
that
all
part.
right. So you know how when you're getting an EIN and they ask you, is this EIN for outside the United States or inside the
Yeah,
United States?
right.
We our estate is demarcated from the United States, so you have to do outside the United States. And then when you speak to them over the phone, they just ask you, where's this organization incorporated? You just say Morocco, yeah, because
Uh,
that is our
I will
national.
follow that. I
Because
won't follow that.
listen.
No, I'm
That is
listening. I'm
that
not.
that is that is our national descent name. We
Uh,
have a free national name and we have a national descent name. Everybody in the United States have a national descent name. That's how you're able to demarcate their rights, their interests, and all of that. Right?
do you
We're
have
this
any
we're the
evidence that any Chinese or Arabs
the
or any other
all right,
individuals?
so you see, so you can agree that we are descendants of Moroccans born in America, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now, so now when I change my name, right, I am a descendant of the old name. Do you get it? The only way you can proclaim your nationality, you have to ascend. Now, to come back, you have to descend and make that claim. So when you're making the claim, I say John Henry Bay, descendant of John Henry Doe. You get it?
I hear that, but do you? What I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Because this would obviously be a universal application. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
for
not,
everybody.
huh?
It's for everybody. It's
Right.
nothing
So
secret
does it
about
just
it.
would just apply to the Moorish Americans, like you said, it could apply to the Chinese.
It can apply to anybody because they're gonna ask you, where is this organization incorporated? If I'm Chinese, I'm gonna say China. If I'm Irish, I'm gonna say Ireland.
But
Yeah.
what I'm asking is, do you have any reviewable information that could show myself that another group of people other than the Moorish have done this so that we can see the pattern to follow? That's what I'm asking.
I've done it, brother. I've done it. I could do it in real time. I've done every so basically when you proclaim your nationality, you're supposed to get the Supreme Court in your state, you're supposed to get them to recognize it. Right. And then they give you this exemplified certificate where you can use it anywhere in the United States because you're a national. It's going to say exemplified certificate, right? And then your nationality papers are supposed to go in the real estate miscellaneous records, but you have to explain to them that
I've declared my nationality with the United States, with the constitutional government of the United States of America, the same way that every other nation of people have done it, bro. I have an ID that recognizes me not as the principal or not as the minor.
all right, have you ever heard of a specialty like agreements, covenants under seal, right?
Where to some degree,
Can you agree that our covenant is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? That's in our Quran,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Now, for
That's
a judge,
everyone's covenant, though.
huh?
That's a universal covenant, though.
Yes, yes. Now you have to get the judge and the county clerk to stamp, right? To stamp that they recognize your covenant. Do you get it? Love, truth. It's going to come in an exemplified certificate. It's like a key to your estate. You can use it for anything: Social Security, passport,
But
anything.
yeah, yeah, okay, 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 okay.
It-
So let me
It's called
ask
the
you
triple
this.
seal.
Let me ask you this: does the passport not qualify as all of notice, if you will, within the government system?
What you mean?
Like I have my passport is my nationality card,
Yeah, that's
right?
cool. That's cool. Then that means your temple is America.
Absolutely, because I'm not a Pan Africanist. I'm a Pan Americanist.
Yeah, your temple is America. I get it.
Right. So, and I'm just because I'm not aware, and I've learned to not assume. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have studied Drew Ali's literature.
Yeah, it's Moorish literature, yeah.
All right. So everything that I'm doing is according to what he has presented, and he says that there's just one thing that needs to be done, and he tells us that this is all in it's called a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. If you get a chance to read that or
For
whatever.
for King asking that question, it's called administrative law. That's the law that supports the activity that I was just saying. There
Okay.
is the only way the Moorish divine and national movement actually moves is through acts. It's through activity. It's
Yeah.
not through, oh, did this get done for me? It should get done for you. We all are particular in this nation, which is very complex. You get what I'm saying? Because like you said, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is universal. Is is
Yeah,
a
those are
is
just
a
the main
billion
principles of
ways.
equity or
Yeah.
honor. That's
As
all
long
that is.
as long as you telling the truth, you in there.
Right, absolutely.
And it
So,
could be your truth as long as it's true.
hey, I like how you said that because that's a 100. That's a statement. That's 100.
Real talk.
A lot of people don't wear it, and that's another reason why I've learned to not tell people, "Oh, you're not doing it right because this is the way so and so did it." Your
Right.
truth is your truth, and no one can deny you your truth. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then what people got to understand, so boom, when they give you the birth certificate, right? They're just registering an estate, y'all.
Yeah, that's it.
Why
That's the
why why
principle. That's
why
evidence of
can
a principle
why
value.
can why can you prove that they only have a right or privilege to register an estate because they're only operating in commerce here, y'all. So they created
Yeah,
like this
and
little commercial world. But what people don't understand is the world they created is in service of a special covenant, y'all, called the US Constitution.
you said that y'all call, so you're not under the Constitution.
No. I'm under the divine constitution and bylaws. I'm not the only. So the only amendment I acknowledge is the First Amendment. If all men are born free and equal, I don't need nothing else.
So the Moorish American, as it was, the Moorish American diaspora,
Yeah.
as it was presented by the brother Drew, um, he tells his people, right, his group of people, to honor the U.S. Constitution all the way up to the 13th Amendment, but nowhere
Yeah,
past that.
that means I recognize it, but I don't follow it. You know, like I recognize things that are bad for me. That's why I don't do it. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm a Moorish citizen. I'm not a United States citizen. You get it?
See, Drew Ali states that he was a citizen of the United States,
All right, that's him.
and
To be a citizen, to be a citizen, that's your choice. It's not obligated. It's not
what citizen? So
mandatory.
you're not a citizen of any government, is what you're saying, or are
I
you a
am a
citizen of a
citizen.
government?
I'm a Moorish citizen.
Of what government?
American government.
United States of America.
That's not the only government that was here in America.
But that okay? That's the government, and all I'm really saying is that's the government that Noble Drew Ali was marching his people into.
But you're not understanding the tools he used to restore his nation. So Noble Drew Ali people is not American. Noble Drew Ali people are Moorish. He said his Moorish people.
Yeah, I'm North. That my ancestry is from
Yeah,
North
where
Africa.
I'm Moorish. You get what I'm saying? I'm only American by education.
Okay.
That's it. I'm only American by education because you gotta understand. Before there was 7 continents, America didn't exist. You
Thank
dig
you.
what I'm saying?
Yo, take care. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Hey, who's maintaining the register for your people?
Yeah.
What
Right.
government is maintaining your register?
Allah, yeah. When you got to Earth, who
All right,
registered
but
you on Earth
Allah
first?
is
Allah.
physical. Physically, who
Yeah,
Oh
is?
my God.
who's maintaining the
You're
register? Like
saying
you're
physically.
claiming to be a part of a body, right? Which means it's a community of people or a group of people, right? Who's maintaining your official registers? Like you're claiming to be a Moorish or whatever class of person you're claiming to be, right? And you're saying that
All
they're
right,
a group of you
this, all right,
guys.
all right, let me break it down for you. Let
Who's
me break it down.
maintaining your official
Let
register?
me, you know, obviously you haven't read the indigenous rights. You have a right to self-govern.
No,
Stop
Okay,
looking
he's
for
saying
I'm
somebody
not,
he's
okay, I'm not
externally to
saying
do
that you
something
don't
for
have a
you.
right. I'm saying you do have all the rights, right? But
who's
these things have to
overseeing
be
the registration.
officially recognized in
Well,
order for other communities or other governments to acknowledge the existence of your
listen. Yeah,
government. It
all
has
of
to
this
be
you're saying.
officially
All right,
established.
I'm gonna let you keep talking because you can say officially as many times as you want. Do you understand me? The only person that can officially recognize you is yourself. You're looking for external.
So you by
Um.
yourself out here in the world,
Oh my God! Listen to my words, y'all. Y'all
brother.
listening to
Brother, you're
respond. You're
getting
not
really
listening to take
worked up
heed
right now, and you
because
don't
you're not
need that.
listening to
You
take
don't
heed.
need that. That doesn't.
It's
I
not
don't. I
listening to
don't.
take heed, bro.
Yeah,
All
I
Listen.
don't. I
government
don't.
systems
You don't
Oh
make.
my God!
follow
Oh my God!
processes
Oh
and
my God!
procedures.
Y'all don't make sense. Y'all been talking how I'm
All right,
living
brother.
way
I'm
better
gonna
than
go
y'all. I'm
ahead
living
and
way better than
bring
y'all.
you
And y'all
on
talking this
down.
bullshit.
You're
Y'all
So you
talking
agitated.
this
obviously don't
bullshit.
understand
The
community
prophet said he
because
need
you're trying to
finance and y'all
claim to be
talking
a
this
part of a
bullshit.
community, but then when we ask you, you know what I'm saying, to show
Nigga,
us
I
anything
save
official
mothers
about
every
the
day.
community
I
that
put
you're a part of, you can't.
Yeah, I cut him off, fam. He starts saying nigga and all. He getting all in his feels and shit.
Yeah, I see you was picking up on it too, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Look, now we lames. Fuck you, weird ass nigga. The only reason why I accepted your motherfucking request anyway was to see the bullshit you was on, nigga. And then I gave you an opportunity to speak, and you just like all the motherfucking radicals anyway, nigga. Beat it. Fuck out of here, man. That's the problem. Pause, so, King. Nah, cause last night,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I saw
Yesterday,
you was picking up on it too because he was just speaking
yeah,
nonsense.
I pick up on it. I pick up on all of that. He's a radical. He doesn't speak for me or for other Moorish Americans. He can't even answer the basic question. You asked him a basic question. I asked him a basic question. And he wants, just like all these other radicals, he wants to go and he wants to get his little Fred Flintstone running store. Like, never just get to the point. Get to the fucking point. You're
Yeah,
not
they,
no
they have
more.
they don't have
Whatever,
facts.
man.
They have
Take
they have
what his
stories.
name is Take Care Package. When I seen Take Care Package, to me, that was a red flag already. Right? Take Care Package. What package you selling? And then he coming up here talking that package shit anyway. That's package work he talking. But then he can't tell you where does it where again, like you asked him, like who's verifying this shit? He can't verify it. He talking about, I'm the only one who did it, man. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here, man. I should wear those shit, man. Then he gonna keep ranting, put me back up there. Nigga, you don't run this here. You don't run this here, son. By all means, I yield the floor to you, Brother King. Yeah, I ain't gonna argue with niggas and shit.
Nah,
I ain't gonna argue with nigga Morse.
he got out of character real easy.
Yeah.
Too easy. That mean you got no self control.
None. He's getting upset because he's being questioned.
Right.
Who gets upset when they're questioned? Motherfuckers who can't
Liars,
tell the truth.
deceivers,
Deceivers, finessing. Niggas out here finessing. I guess he was about to sell me a Take Care package, right? Fuck out of here, man.
All right, King, I'm out of here, man.
Peace. Yeah, I ain't gonna tolerate all that weirdo stuff here. And I know that when I do share this to YouTube, that none of that stuff is gonna show up. So I don't really care. So this is what I mean when I say got to be careful with all these people out here trying to finesse. Right? They got an idea of their own. They've got their own concepts. Once the brother told me that whatever he was doing was not in alignment with Drew Ali, right? I already checked him off. I already said, but I still allowed him to speak. And again, the brother can't answer basic questions and shit because he doesn't have the answers. The nigga does not have the answers, man. Shit crazy, man. Everybody's a guru. No, you're not coming back up here. I'm not here to argue with you. Fuck out of here, bro. Go somewhere, man. Go teach your moral ethics on your page, bro. You don't have to come here to my page at all. I am scared. If that's how you perceive it, then so be it. I look at it as being prepared. I ain't got time for you. You live under a rock. Okay. Okay. All right, whatever. Oh, look at the rock. These niggas, man. You know what your problem is? You're a fucking baby, yo. You've got a childlike mentality. You want your way. You're not willing to allow another. Just like I allowed you to come up here and speak your piece, you don't know how to do that. You want everybody to hear you. Me. Fuck out of here, nigga. Fuck out of here. We don't do that shit over here. I'm not like the rest of the mother dudes on here who want to argue and debate and speculate. I ain't got that to do. I done been through that. I done ran through that mill. I asked the brother if he had evidence, because we talking universal application. I said, hey, do you have any evidence that other individuals, like the Chinese or whomsoever, do the same application that he's speaking about? And I only made mention of that, again, because I followed Drew Ali's literature, and Drew Ali was telling his people, hey, we got to follow like what everybody else is doing. Nigga couldn't answer. Nigga couldn't respond. Like, fuck out of here, man. But that's what we have to deal with. radical, agitating posers, not true Moors. And then again, he's saying that his jurisdiction is not from America. When the whole time Drew Ali's calling his people American citizens. Right? Niggas is bugging, man. Just like you see Italians and they'll have the flag of Italy, right? And they'll display the flag of Italy, right, as a logo on anything that they possibly can. But that's not them saying, hey, you know what? My jurisdiction is in Italy. That's not that. The brother sounds Pan-Africanist, and I don't have anything against Pan-Africanists. Oh, look, now he's viewing my profile. Right? I don't have any issues towards Pan-Africanists, but I myself am not Pan-African. I'm Pan-American. So, I deal with what's here in America. My ancestors sojourned from the land of Canaan, went into Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and went to the four corners and found themselves here in the Americas and left their seeds, right? They planted seeds in the States and whatnot here in the Americas before the Constitution was created. And so when the Constitution was created, I'm the descendants of those Moors who had already come over here and who established themselves here, along with the other European and Asian peoples who also came out of the land of Canaan, out of the Holy Lands. Like these niggas, man. I don't understand why you got all these people out here trying to tell you how to do things, but they can't. When you ask them specific questions, they can't respond. They always got to go around back into their rhetoric, you know what I'm saying, and try to figure out a way to just beat you in the head with the information. See, you don't understand. See, the jurisdiction, man, shut the fuck up. What angry reactions say? What Anya say? Nigga, shut the fuck up. Why? I try to give people an opportunity to speak, and most people, they're going to reveal themselves when they speak. Most people who love to speak, right, especially if they don't have anything truthful to say, the more they say, the more they reveal where they really stand. Wow. Try to give that brother the benefit of the doubt. Right? But if y'all wish to look him up, his name is Take Care Package, all one word, right? He only has one. That's another reason why I accepted this friend request, because it's like, oh, okay, he's got all these likes or whatever. He finally he accepts my request. And are your pendants tribal, family? No, my pendants are not tribal. No. This is Ganesh. This is the sun, moon, and star on a compass. If you see it, it's black, right? I also have the law or Nama on my chest. I'm not into tribalism. I'm not a tribal person. I'm a national person. So, as a matter of fact, this is the only tribal thing that I have because my tribe is Pennsylvania. But yeah, what was I saying? We got people out here who they want you to listen to them. They wish for you to follow their dictates, right? But they don't wish for you to question them. If I can't ask you questions, then I can't see if you know what the fuck what you're talking about. If you ask me a question, that's showing me that you may not understand, right? And then I should be able to find a way, very plainly, by the way, right, to explain to you what it is so that I can bring you to the state of mind that I'm in. I'm not gonna sit here and jog you around the whole motherfucking mulberry bush. Mm, but yeah, what was I gonna get into? Right. Let me take y'all to the board, man. Teach, brother, teach. Appreciate y'all. So, if you didn't catch yesterday, which I'm sure most of y'all may not have, because a lot of new people coming in, I was speaking specifically about the nationality process. Okay, that's what I talk about. The brother who came on who was acting ignorant and arrogant, right? He wanted to explain to me, I guess, his version of the nationality process. Do you know what it means to nationalize? I'm actually writing a detailed essay on this so that I can present this to the people, right? In basic terms, what does it mean to nationalize, right? Because you hear all these people talking about it. You just heard old boy talking about it, even though he wasn't talking about it properly. He's telling you to be for it and be under all whatever. Let me tell you. Let me show you, right? We're not talking about nationality. We're talking about how do you get to nationality, nationalization. Nationalization, right? Which is the process of nationalizing, right? Makes sense, right? Oh, there's a glare. Oh, can we fix that? Can we take that glare off? Not really. All right, what else? If we move this back, will that take the glare? No. All right, but y'all can see it. All right, that's. All right. Nationalization is the process by which a private citizen or individual, a private person, right, pledges their assets. So that's money, gold, silver, commerce, their assets to the control or ownership to the control / ownership. I see. Ownership of the state. That's what nationalization means, y'all. It don't mean nothing other than that. Okay? So with everybody trying to tell you about nationalizing, if they're not telling you that you have to take your private assets and pledge it to the public for the benefit of all, they're not telling you about nationalizing. They're not. They're telling you something totally different that is not national. And again, you could do a basic Google search, basic Bing search, right? And then you can run that in tandem with a law dictionary search of what it means to nationalization. It means to give your shit to the government, guys. Right? This is why I was explaining yesterday, and you can catch it. You can catch it on the YouTube channel, right? The link's in the bio. But this is why I was explaining to the people Pennsylvania issued me this birth certificate. All right. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania issued me this birth certificate. This birth certificate is a security. All right. It is a commercial instrument. It is a hypothecation of my vested interests. What can I do for my country, for my state, my country, my nation? All right. That's what this is. This is evidence that I have commercial value in my power. Right. And when my mother and father registered, because we're dealing with registration, I'm supposed to be registered. I can't do business in the nation if I'm not registered as a national. If I have no investment in, I can't expect a return on investment. Right? Period. Most of these people, when they talk about this stuff, they don't talk banking and they leave a lot of shit out, right? So when my mother and father registered my energy, right? I received a Social Security insurance policy. That's what that is. That is an insurance policy. Why? Because you're supposed to be able to put in and receive and get out, right? Input, output, right? You can't get anything if you don't put anything in. So whenever these things were issued to me, right, they were issued to me under a minority status. I was not recognized yet as one of the people. Right? These are my assets and they're unsecured. Right? So then I filled out, I applied and I registered for citizenship through the DS-11 form, right? Passport form, right? And one of the things that you have to do on that form is you have to give them this information. You have to give them the account number and the claim number. So now you're making a claim. All right? I pledged my assets. I gave it back to the U.S. Department of State. And what did they do for me? They authorized me to act on behalf of the United States, Pennsylvania, and all of the people. This is my passport. This is my nationality card. That's all I did. All these other people telling you to do all this other extra shit, right? Again, like I was telling the brother, I'm not here to argue with anybody. Let me see here. Who is this? Joseph Mobley. Yes, it is all equity. Absolutely. Well, we're waiting for the brother to come on in. It's not really bringing him in. But again, when I pledged all of this, right, I received this. This is authorization. What's good, brother? You on?
I can do it like that. They know who I am.
Say what now?
Bring my
It must have been I picked it up. Sorry.
Brother Joseph, brother Mobley.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to join in. Good morning, though.
Okay, no problem. No problem. All right. Yeah.
ET. Yes.
All right. All right. So, in order to get equity, what must one do? Equity, right? So, I handed over the legal ownership, and I received equitable ownership. All right. Who made this for me? Pennsylvania. So to nationalize, right, means that I have to give it back to my government, to my administrative government. That's all I did. And so now I recognize my birthplace of birth is Pennsylvania, USA. So I recognize in Pennsylvania, and I recognize by any nation that recognizes Pennsylvania, and I'm also recognized by any nation that recognizes the USA as a whole. I didn't go filing all them extra papers and trying to get outside of jurisdictions and shit. That's not what I teach. That's not what my teacher taught. So I'm not gonna be on here teaching y'all anything outside of what I know for a fact. My teacher taught. All right. This is my teacher. This is my big brother. This is my elder. Right. This is the brother who came and started telling everybody about the Moorish diaspora and letting them know if you look on the SF 181, right? He was letting people know black, Negro, colored. Let me see. Let's see if I can make that lighter. There we go. He was teaching the people that black, right? Black means not one of the people. And he was telling us that we were North African. And white means a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North Africa. You're Asian, right? So this was the brother who was out here telling everybody about the Moorish diaspora. And then the individual who had just came in talked about he was Moorish American, but he was from a different jurisdiction. He doesn't follow this stuff. He didn't study that literature the way that I studied it to even know what Drew Ali was talking about. Right? I compiled all of Noble Drew Ali's information that I could find in the public. Let me see. Right? It ain't like this. There we go. All right. This is all the information, and then I titled it "The Moorish Americans' Economic Security, Emmanuel," because Drew Ali speaks specifically about economic security, and this is one of the things that deals with nationalization, and it's also one of the things that I did not hear publicly in the movement. So I'm like, let me put it out there. Only corn. Okay. Bo Nexus. Okay, no problem. No problem. No problem. You have your weirdos who come in, and that's how we do that. But he is right, right? But he's not going to. I'm not going to be painted as somebody telling you some trash, right? One of the biggest issues we have is that this information, right? The individual who was saying that this is trash, he's saying that because he or she or whoever it is aware that you have a lot of bogus people out here trying to teach this stuff. Okay? But peace to you. That individual was not paying. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I'm presenting. All he knows is that I'm presenting this particular information, right? And so he's not aware that I'm not out here telling everybody, go get this secret account. I'm not teaching that trash. I'm not associating or affiliating any of that lost, secret, none of that. We don't do that over here. We don't do that over here, right? So when you're listening to this is the truth. This is what's supposed to put you back in line with your government. I'm literally teaching y'all to do what everyone else is teaching y'all not to do. Oh, I thought that was somebody. Okay. But anyway, this is all of the public information from the organization and the actual mission and the movement, right? That was geared towards. Drew Ali says that this information was supposed to save everybody, not just the Moorish American. And he was also saying that there were already other Americans that knew what this was about, and that he was pleading with them, like, yo, please come tell these Moors, right, that they got to get in line. Let them know that the shit that I'm saying out my mouth, right, is 100, and I ain't just out here misleading them. Did I just put the brother's picture? It's crazy. All right. But yeah, so nationalization is, there we go. Nationalization is the process by which the private individual, by which the private person, right, gives of their own property, of their own worth and their value. They pledge it, right? All of their assets. They give the private up so that it can be distributed publicly, universally by the governing body. That private person, right, their private possessions, they pledged it. That makes them an investor. You're an investor, right? That gives you say so, right? What's stopping you from becoming the governor of your state? What's stopping you from being the mayor of your town? Right? If you're not one of the people, if you don't have any pledges in, then again, you can't receive anything out of it, right? And then if the people don't know that you're one with the people, they're not going to vote for you either. Right? So I don't teach separation, segregation, division. I teach freedom and equality. Right? Free and accepted. Freedom and acceptance. Right? And we're operative out here. We're not speculative. We're not just watching over. No, we're actually active out here. We're living by these foundational principles. Nationalization means come back into your government. It does not mean, hey, I'm not a part of the U.S. I'm not under their jurisdiction. That's not what this means. That's what people are selling you. They're selling you that idea. Whether it's the sovereign citizen movement, the patriots movements, and some of these Moorish movements, right? They've been infiltrated. Drew Ali already says that his movement was infiltrated. Right? Drew Ali writes this whole statement, right, where he wants to make sure, he's trying to explain to whoever's willing to read the actual mission of his movement, because he realizes, right, that he was suffering due to the people not understanding what his movement was about. And the people who were not understanding what his movement was about were the people inside his movement who went off sideways and started acting crazy. Let me see. I chose constitutional law to help people beat the system. The closer you get to getting out of the system, the closer you get to stalking it. All right, so I'm not trying to get out of the system. I can't change the system if I'm on the outside. Right? If Thanksgiving dinner is inside and there's a whole seat for me, but I'm outside shoveling the snow, right? I can't get mad that I didn't eat when everybody ate. But I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily agree, but I'm not here to argue with you either. Oh, that's what you're saying. I don't want out of. Okay. Yes, right. You got all these people trying to bog us down and say, get out. And like I said, the analogy that I used, if Thanksgiving dinner is on the table, right, and there's a plate for you, there's a seat at the table, but you're outside when everybody's eating. How could you complain and be upset? You're outside. Why have you not went inside so that you can sit down, get out of the cold, right? Speak with the people, right? Hold a meeting, open up meeting. Well, you can't do that if you're outside. I can't change the government from the outside. I can't even change myself from the outside. Nothing that I do to this is going to make me feel good outside if I don't feel good inside. Use the system for your benefit. Yes, the system is created for me. This system favors creators. It favors active people in society who are establishing businesses so that other people can come and benefit. It favors creditors, and it doesn't necessarily look down upon the dependents or the debtors, right? But it holds the debtors to a certain standard, right? Unless you are disabled, there's no reason for you to be a debtor and be able-bodied. If you are a child who is incompetent, or you've reached an age where mentally you are incompetent, right? Now you're one of the dependents. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. The babies and the elders, they can't create. They can, there's a time for that, and that time is whenever you've reached that age of consciousness. So once you've reached that age of consciousness, there's no reason for you to be passive. There's no reason for you to be allowing other people to make decisions for you without you having say so. Now, who makes the decisions for us? The representatives. And again, are you out there? Do you go to your city hall? Do you go to the government? Do you participate in the voting? Have you registered as a voter? Many people, I'm not registering. That's on you. That's on you. And I use the analogy of the Matrix often. Most people are familiar. There was a trilogy. There were three steps, right? But then there's the whole resurrection. He didn't resurrect on the third step. There was a whole fourth chapter. And what did he do? He didn't argue with the machines. What did he do? He nationalized. Neo gave all of himself to the fucking machines so that he can dethrone the lower self or Agent Smith. He contracted with the government. He became one with the government. And when he did that, he became a fiduciary or a vestryman on behalf of everybody in Zion who was still fighting. He's telling you don't have to fight. And he didn't ask them either. He said, fuck it, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to pledge myself, my assets, right, in order to assist and help everybody. That's what he did, right? He merged. He merged. All right? Neo did the exact opposite of what all your gurus are telling you to do. Right? Drew Ali did the exact opposite of what all your gurus are telling you what to do. All right, so again, if you wish to be a recognized Republican, right? If you wish, in order to be a national of your state, you have to pledge your assets, and then you are recognized as one of the people of that republic. A lot of people, I don't want to be Republican. That's fine. Choose what you wish to choose, right? Because there's a balance, right? But just understand that this was built as a republic. And the republic means the people are one and unified. They decide. Everyone in the republic has a voice. And there's someone who represents that voice for the people, right? Like the representative right here, right now, today for myself. His name is Josh Shapiro. He's a Democrat. All right? He's a Democrat. I don't particularly agree with a lot of the things that he's doing under the Democratic Party, right? I'm not supposed to follow, as a Muslim, I'm not supposed to follow behind anyone whom I do not feel their prayers or their presentations will be accepted by Allah or the government, right? So anytime the state is under democratic authority or representation, right, I act as though I'm in an emergency. I'm in a state of emergency. And I seek assistance from the federal government, particularly when it's in the republic, right? Like right now, to provide for me what needs to be provided for me while I'm under democratic, if you will, leadership of the state, right? But even with all of that, I'm supposed to be out. You're supposed to be out here. We're supposed to be out here working with your passports, by the way, not with your social security numbers, right? But we're supposed to be out here working anyway. I've noticed that a lot of people don't want to work. Most of the people who I have encountered, right, along this nationalization or redemption or secure party process, whatever the case may be, most of those individuals, they don't wish to work. They don't. They feel as though because their ancestors did all this work that they should benefit. They don't want to put in. Right? They believe that there's some special account out there just for them that they can just tap into, right? And they should just be able to spend, if you will, all the resources of the people as they see fit, and not even for the purposes of making businesses for us. Everybody that I keep hearing following these punk ass edicts and shit, right? They're all out for themselves. Me and my tribe, or me and my family. All right, well, what about the state? Oh, fuck them. Everybody who's a Pennsylvanian is one of my family members. We bear the same free national name as Pennsylvanians, and then everyone here in America are my family, right? Who are recognized because we all bear the same one free constitutional free national name of America. All right. Mm. Anybody wishing to be a part of government, you have to go into the government, y'all. I love working because I learned different skills to help others. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? We're here to contribute, right, to the betterment of humanity. Every last one of us are able to participate in this program that has been established, which allows for everyone to give the best of themselves so that we can so that we can create more opportunities, right? And advancement in humanity as a whole. Go and learn something. That way you can bring it back. You could be a teacher when you are verified and you're licensed, right? Because a lot of people don't like that either. Oh, the licenses, that's your verification. That's your certificate. That's your authorization. Again, when you're paying for licenses and shit, you're investing back into your state, right? So when you have the licenses, the qualifications to teach these things, to do these things, right? That's economics. That's foundational business. You have a value. Your degree of value concerning that matter, right, is in more higher demand than someone who doesn't have it. Now you can be employed, right, because you actually live that life. You can be employed under whatever organization to teach more people how to do what you do, right? So that they can take what you've learned and they can expound upon it the way you've expounded upon it after learning it from whoever you learned it from, right? The only way out is through. If you want out of the government, you're still going to have to go through it to get out of it. What do we learn from the Matrix? That nobody escapes the government. The Matrix, the motherboard. Nobody gets out. We learn how to operate within it, right? We realize that in the Matrix, there's a balance And that when that balance is not balanced, that's when issues happen. But when things are balanced, there is no limit to the things that you can achieve. When you recognize the Democratic Republic, the Democratic part, that's for the dependents. That's for those who cannot speak for themselves. The Republic is for those who can speak for themselves. Right? Absolutely. I desire to fix the government as well. Right? I love this government. Right? I used to be at war with it. I realized that it's not the government that I'm at war with. It's the people in it who may have their own agendas and how they're hiding, right, in the government. So if I wish to change anything, then I must go in. All right. I must go in. I can't be out here bickering about it. What can I, again, the analogy of sitting down at the feast. I can't even put any food on my plate if I'm outside shoveling in the snow during Thanksgiving. Just saying. Real quick, I have a YouTube channel. The link is on my profile in my bio. Right? I talk about this stuff. I was actually on hiatus because I felt so. I was in depression. Right? It's just like, damn, man. No matter how much of this information I give out, right? I was just people weren't receiving it, right? But I'm out of that stupid now, and so I'm back and I'm back active. You know what I'm saying? I desire to fix our justice system. Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the high value principles of equity is justice. Justice. Can we see that? See, I know when I get closer, it does all that. I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do all that. Can y'all see the word justice up there, or is it too bright? Gotta get this lighting right, y'all. So please bear me. Right. First, let's do that. Next, let's give me a second. Yeah, no, I can't see that. So let me, you know what I'll do? Because that's not a black marker either. So that might also play a big part in it. Can you tip the board down? Like that? Hold on. All right. Justice, right? What is it? So the issue with me tipping it that way is just to show you it's not going to be stable. All right, but I'll try to figure out justice. What is justice? Justice is one's reward or punishment or economically, it is one's profit, it's one's gain or loss. That's called equity. That's equity. That's what justice is. Justice means, hey, I owe you $100. Let me give you $100. I'm not going to give you $99.99, and I'm not going to give you 101. I'm going to give you exactly what you deserve. Justice is, hey, we all came together, we organized, we pulled our finances together. We said, hey, we wish to have a laundromat. One of us went out into the community, possibly went down to the borough building or whoever manages the property within this, the locality, said, hey, look, our people were interested in utilizing this particular space, right, to set up a laundromat. We have the finances, and okay, we secured all of that. Boom, and now we have that. Your justice is, hey, now people are coming, utilizing, right, the laundromat. Financially, you're being benefited, yes, but even more so, the people are being benefited because they can now wash their clothes, right? It's just an example. Let me see here. Once you know it is a contract, it'll make sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? So let me explain to y'all what a national citizen is, right? Or yeah, see. A national citizen a national citizen. Uh Damn, I lost it. That's smoking you. Uh yeah, there we go. Here we go. Is a professional. So by professional, we mean authorized, licensed, qualified contract. That's what your passport or your national identification acknowledges you as a professional contractor, not an independent contractor. You're not independent, right? You're not on a sole proprietorship, right? Because you've nationalized, you've already given your private for use for all. So you're not working just for yourself. You're working for the benefit of all, right? You're a professional contractor. Professional. Professional means prophet of God. Religiously, the word professional means prophet of God. Okay? And on this side, it would be prophet of government. All right? I was just saying. So the word, if you were to search the etymology of the word professional, you will see, or excuse me, of the word prophet, right? You will see that it is a, what I believe, Greco-Roman compound word. And the first word is pro. And pro means something forward, towards, right? And in Latin, it would be por. P-O-R, still P-R-O-P. Anyway, so and in fashion, fashion means to speak. So one who speaks forward. And then L or Al means God or governance. So a professional is a prophet of God. So you're a you're a speaker of God. You are the one who contracts. So you are you are the prophet and the messenger. You are prophet and messenger. The contractor is the one who delivers the message on behalf of God or behalf of the government. All right, you're the fiduciary. You are the profiteer. You're the one who brings it all back. That's what we all are as national citizens, prophets and messengers. We get all the boogie woogie shit out of here too. I don't do the boogie woogie. No disrespect to anyone, or where they are in degrees of gnosis. I don't do the boogie woogie shit. All right. So prophet, professional. To me, they all mean the same thing. So we are professional contractors. We are businessmen and women. We are government agents. All right? We're supposed to be out here creating jobs, opportunities, offering services and products, providing all of these things, not just for here in America, but know that it's American made, but all over the world. International industry, international commerce. We are licensed commercial professionals. I'm one with the all. Right? A lot of us, we miss that. And a lot of us don't want to hear that. There are a lot of people that don't wish to have the responsibilities and saying, hey, you know what? I know the government's a little off. Right? Let me go out there and do those things that need to be done that I see need to be done that aren't being done. Let me go ahead and do that because I recognize, right, that I'm called by God, right, to this ministry. Go and administer. If you see something need to be done and it's not being done, that's because you need to be the one doing it. You need to. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm teaching this because I see that it's not being done. But I saw that it was done, right? And I see that it's being done by the rich, by those who be deemed wealthy. I see this stuff being done by them. I don't see it being done by the people, by other people. My brother teacher told me to observe, to pay attention to the European nations and how they do their business here in America. He told me to give myself a good European education. He said that the Europeans were going to be within the American governing body long enough to teach the rest of the Moorish, the Muslim Americans, right, how they can operate within government as well. Right? Drew Ali was all inclusive. He wasn't telling you to get away from anything and separate. He says separate from motherfuckers that aren't doing right. That's it. That doesn't mean that it ain't got nothing to do with this. Drew Ali told me to watch what they're doing because he took the covers off for all of the secret organizations and then brought us an organization with the same foundation as these other organizations. And all these organizations deal with is business. It's business. It's professional. It's what he says. Nationality is the order, the order of the day. Nationality. My card says nationality on it, right? And it says USA. And the nationality cards that Drew Ali was offering to his members also said, I am a citizen of the USA. Yes, the fuck it did. Yes, it did, right? So Drew Ali talks about nationality is the order of the day. So he's telling the people, national organizations is how we do corporate business. He told you that. An order is an organization. He's talking about corporate business the whole time. Everything Ali's movement was about corporate business in America. And he said the Europeans are doing that too. He said the Middle Easterners, they're doing that too. Everybody's doing it. Hey, look, my people, let's get corporate. Everybody running away from the corporation. The corporation is the body. Jesus is the body. For the Christians, right? Jesus is the body, right? The body beautiful, the perfect. And we're all supposed to be in the body. Jesus is the vessel. Get in the vessel. This is the vessel. You have to get in it. So then in business, if we're all a part of the business, we have limited liability. If somebody sues the business, they're not taking any of my personal property. They can only take if they can obtain it, they can only take what's part of the organization. And if the organization is solid, no one can take it. So Drew Ali was telling everybody, yo, get in, lock in. I hear these people talking about these processes, right? I hear them talking about these processes. Okay. Right, and it's annoying to me to hear these people they're telling you how to do corporate business, but then out of their own mouths, they're telling you don't do corporate business. But you're telling me all of these steps and processes and procedures, they're corporate, they're administrative. To the Moorish Americans, Jesus, the corporate body, means justice. Your profit or your loss, your gain or your loss. What is your profit? What is your net profit? What's your net worth? After all that you've done, after everything's paid off, after all debts, right, are paid off, what do you have left? That's your justice. So once Jesus was stripped of everything, what did you have left? Just the truth. The truth is, we get it. You're supposed to be aligned. We're supposed to be doing business. Your passport is how you operate in business, because it's a business. We already hear all the people talking about, oh man, it's all commerce, it's all commercial. All right, it's all business. It's all for profit. So let's go. Why am I being told don't go to work? Why am I being told don't go to work? Oh, the people are slave wages. Hold on. I'm not going to work necessarily. My intentions isn't to stay dishwasher. If I'm working at it, that's not my intention is to stay there. I don't want to be the head dishwasher for 10 years. Right? I want to learn a skill of a trade that I could take. Oh, so at some point I desire to be an administrator in this restaurant, in this business. Why? So that I can take that information, right, and pass that on. I'm here to work so that I can learn how to do it for myself. I'm here to learn from the master so I can become the master. Right? If you go to school to learn how to bake a cake, to learn how to bake, right? And you got the master baker, right? This is the most renowned baker in all of the world, right? And you learn from this individual here how to do it. You're going to do everything. All right, cool. That doesn't make me him, does it? No. But that makes me the baker, doesn't it? Now I'm the baker, right? So now I can go out here and do what I was taught, and I can show others how to do. That's the business. This shit's about business, man. This is not about sitting back, being passive, and hey, we should be able to just run around here, governmentless, lawless, and this is not my law. Or work. I mean, that is contributing to our own demise. This whole business foundational plan was set up for us by all of our ancestors, all of them, not just the Moorish Americans, but those of the European nations, those of the Asian nations, and all over. We're all here together, and we all agreed. The Constitution was an agreement. Everybody said, "Yeah, this is how we finna do it." You American, yeah. You American, yeah. All right, cool. So it don't matter how we look then. We all wanna live this business life accordingly. And we all gonna get it out the mud. And the Moorish Americans, if they really study the literature, they will find out that the reason they lost their nationality in 1774 is because it was their actions. It wasn't the actions of any other people. They weren't living right. And so they could not be recognized, but they were already party to it. Because you are who you are today, who your ancestors were. So they were the North Africans who were here with the Middle Easterners and Europeans who established America, right? We're already party to it. But like I said, if we're willing to allow somebody else to call us something else, so we want to run after other information, right? If we want to stay in the European concept instead of being in the American state of mind, then those Europeans who have the American state of mind had no choice but to ride us out. Y'all out here, y'all still dealing with the shit over there in Europe and the Alhambra and you're still dealing with all of that. That shit don't play here. We're in America now. We're all Americans now. We're all one now. Particularly the North Africans, the Europeans, and the Middle Easterners, all sharing that same white status. According to the SF 181, right? And these Moorish Americans, they were taught that they were called Black or African American. So that's not them. And they're told that they're North African. If you see that down there at the bottom, North African is white. And white means a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So there was already a union here in America. That's what the white union is about. These Moorish Americans desired to be Negroes. They got written out. They believe they were brought over here by slave ship and slave trade, instead of coming over here before the Atlantic Ocean was just a river. They agree with that concept of history, and so that's why they out here not understanding business. That's why they have the black status. Not because the Europeans said, "Hey, we're just going to get out on these dudes," but because this is how they were acting. Drew Ali tells us in various different sources, right, that the reason the Moorish Americans lost their nationality, and suffered slavery, just like all other nations who have gone through it, they did it because they did not stand in honor. They acted other than self, separate from the whole. They acted separate from the whole. They took the standards of others and accepted them as their own. They did it, right? Because we're contracting. They accepted the contract. They did not honor. Let me see. Now the light's right on top of it. No. I don't know. We may have to. Drew Ali did not teach that Moorish Americans were supposed to go and nationalize with Morocco. He didn't teach that we're supposed to be out here just running around on the land with feathers in our hair. He didn't tell us to be out here talking about commission, this, that, and the third, though there is a reason and a purpose for those organizations, because that's a national organization. Did you know that national means family? Why? Because everybody's invested. So Drew Ali was teaching us on every level of human inquiry, of human life, order, organization, the unification, the coming together, the awareness and the intention to move forward. That's what's going to get you to wherever you're going. Drew Ali wasn't teaching. And again, I rocks with this brother right here. I rocks with this brother right here. A lot of people they're doing with him what was done with Jesus, right? And Muhammad, right? They're using the imagery and they're using the information, right, to a degree. They're using his words, but they're not imitating his character. We're supposed to have the same quality and character as this man. How do we know? How do I know? The definition, let me see. The definition of nationality. The definition of nationality is that quality or character. Quality or character. What character do I have? I have national character, which arises from the facts found, of a person. Person, not people, but person. So my person is found, right? Nationality is that quality or character which arises from the fact of a person's belonging to a nation, USA, or state, Pennsylvania. That's Black's Law Dictionary, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th edition. If you want to go look at it. Nationality is that quality or character which arises from the fact of a person's belonging to a nation or state. And nationality is the order or the organization of the day. All right, I ain't gonna get too hyped up on that, but I'm just showing you all. I'm showing you all what I've uncovered about this whole nationality process, right? About this redemption process, right? So if you actually do take the opportunity to, before the end of this this segment, go to the see, I've spoken about this for 2 days straight, right? Over the process, right? I went over paperwork. All my paperwork is U.S. certified, right? You've got the ethnicity and race identification, right? That's called the SF-180. I'll put it back up on the board. It was up here when I first started, and so I'm gonna put it back up here for y'all to see, right? So I explained SF 181, ethnicity and race, Social Security card form. And the DS-11 passport form. And affidavit. And supporting affidavit. Plus affidavit. All right. So I had this information already up before. Get it on this side of the light. Right. That's what it is. I wish I could make this shit higher. Or can I do this? Make it off the way and see. Looks a little too dark. All right. So I went over to SF 181. That's the ethnicity and race. Right? That's where we learn about Latino or Hispanic ethnicity and racial categories as well. That's where we learn about that. Right? And then I don't have the SS5 printed out. Then we went over the SS5 form. The purpose of the SS5 form. That's where you start with your declaration of nationality. That's where you register. That's where the registry takes place, right? The registry takes place at the Social Security level. And so we want to make sure we wish to make sure that we have everything situated. We want to follow proper procedure, right? First thing you do, the SS5 form is where you get to declare, or you get yes. It's where your race and your citizenship. This is where these things are to be applied, right? Myself, I'm a North African descendant, right? So on the SS5 form for Social Security, right, where I'm developing my person that's going to be factually found, right, as belonging to this nation. It's going to be a U.S. citizen. It's going to have white status, right? And if, like in my own particular case, I have a national title of L. And so I wasn't born with it, right? But I desired to utilize it, right? And so I went through the things that I needed to go through to have that done. And so that was also established on the Social Security. So my name being born Brandon Davis, I made sure that my Social Security card or that person now has the Brandon Davis L, right? It's also on my passport, all right? I gave all that information. I needed a replacement card that said that I'm of white character, national character, not black national character, and that it is a U.S. citizen, right? Because I'm a U.S. citizen, right? I have an estate in the United States. That's what citizenship is talking about, all right? So I have a registered estate here in America. That's what makes me, or my person, a U.S. citizen. My character, the role that I play, the rank that I have in society is a U.S. citizen. When I'm out in the public, it's a U.S. citizen. All right. So once that was updated, right? I now know that I have the white status, proper status, commercially. I then went and got a DS11 passport form, right? And with the passport form, I realized that I had to use the social security number and the birth certificate. That's why I'm still up here now. Because this is my person. Remember, nationality is that quality or character which arises from the fact of a person's belonging to a nation or state. My passport not only has my nation, USA, but it has my state, Pennsylvania, USA. All right. So I had to give this information. You've got your gurus out there, your finesses out there and whatnot, right? Your agent Smiths and whatnot out there who are telling you, hey, look, you know what? You're not a U.S. citizen. Don't mark yes to U.S. citizen. Because if you mark yes to U.S. citizen, then you're not a state citizen. No. See, this is my U.S. citizen. And this passport, and mind you, I'm gonna keep it a beam with you, right? I did mark no, and I have 5 stars on my passport. All right, but I know for a fact that those 5 stars came from other things on my passport application and my actual affidavit. Not that I said that I am a state citizen. I am a national. I'm a citizen. I'm a state citizen of the U.S. Right? I have both quality. I have both quality and characters. Right? You got a lot of state nationals telling you they're not U.S. citizens, they're state citizens. Cool. Did you pledge your U.S. citizen to your state? Because if you didn't, then you're saying it out. You are as you say you are, but it's not registered there that way. I registered my U.S. citizen, right? Nationalization means taking your property and registering it with your private property, your principal property, and registering it with your government administration. That's what nationalization means. That's the definition of it. So I gave this back to the government through the DS11 form. This was me making a claim. I made my claim here. This social security number, that's a claim number. Tell me it's not. If you've ever filed for unemployment, they need to make sure that the name and the number on the account match. Right? So I pledged all of this through the DS11 passport form, which is your national citizenship application form. All right? What changed? It means now that I have the full faith and credit of the United States. Everybody's telling you about the full faith and credit of this. This is a self-authenticating document. It's a government document. It identifies a person, not a people. This is property. This is property of what? Pennsylvania. And I gave it to who? The United States. I left my passport book upstairs, but right? So on that DS11 form, do as you please. I would advise people that are U.S. citizens that do have estates here to mark yes. Because if you're not from the U.S., that's why you would mark no. And then there's other portions on that passport form, right, that will account for you being not a U.S. citizen or not having a U.S. citizen. My mother and father were born here, so I have birthright citizenship. My mother and father both have U.S. citizen estates here in the Americas. If someone's mother and father does not, meaning that those being born may be first generation Americans, they would mark no. My mother and father do not have U.S. citizenship. But if he had or she has the estate, he's still a U.S. citizen. as long as he honors his mothers and fathers, right? You don't have to put rural free delivery. You don't have to put all zeros in. Again, they tell you don't put all zeros in the social security number box or give. They've even, I've heard other people being told or instructed, to get an EIN, and then use that in place of, create your own person, right? That's outside of the jurisdiction, right? And then go, and that's fraud, is what that is. That is fraud. That's what the fuck that is. Period. That's fraud. That's why you hear people being talked about negative when they assert silly shit like that, right? I had to give the social security number and I had to send in the birth certificate. Why? Because only the holder in due course would have those things. Only the holder in due course would have those things. All right? Either your mother, your father, or you, or someone who may be guardian over you has this. My neighbor does not have my birth certificate and social security number. All right? So only the true possessor would have it. That's why you give that information on the passport form. Because again, you're nationalizing, you're pledging all of your hypothecated estate to the government. You're saying, hey, I can work for everybody. I'm going to share with everybody. That's all that's doing, right? You give the social, you send the birth certificate in. That is authorization of the claim. That they're saying, okay, this is the claimant. This is the individual. This is the possessor of the property. All right. Then you get a picture. I took my picture with my religious. I got to show it quickly. But just to show you, I have my fez on, right? Because I was instructed that everyone must declare not only the national allegiance, but the religion, right, to the U.S. government. Right. That was the purpose of my affidavit, was to tell them where I am religiously and politically. All right. I am investing all of this Muslim property into the American economy. Okay. So I have my fez on, took the picture, right? Nothing extra. The affidavit, my affidavit was short and sweet, and I can stand on it, right? So on my affidavit that I sent, along with the registration of my property, I'll just say it to you. The first thing I declared was that I am a Muslim, because I understand that Islamically, all Muslims have what's called the white status. White means free of debt, free of sin, right? And Muslims do not believe that people are born in sin or born in debt. Muslims accept the idea that everyone was born free of indebtedness to anyone except for God. I'm only indebted to God, and God is the government. All right. So I said that I am a Muslim. I said that my nationality is Moorish American. Now, mind you, on my Social Security card, I marked as white. All right. Moorish American or North African descendants born in America. All right. So I said that I am my nationality is Moorish American, meaning that I'm an American citizen. I'm a Muslim and I'm an American, right? I said that my religion is Islamism. The doctrine of Islam. Islam to me means equity or honor. So religiously, it's called Islam, but I'm here to deal with honor. I'm here to deal with equity. The doctrine, the ism of equity, justice. That's what Islamism is. That's what Mohammedanism. is. Okay, doctrine of equity. All right, so my religion is Islamism. I said that my religious affidavit of organization has been recorded in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Chicago, Illinois, August 1st, 1929. August 1st, 1929, I think at 2 p.m. Put all of that. By Noble Drew Ali, right? Because this is information that I'm showing that my ancestral pledges, right, prior to this new uh, uh, trust-based government, my ancestors, my nation already pledged their assets, and I'm showing that I'm connected to that Muslim faith, and there is an organization in existence, a religious one at that, right, that builds on human needs. All right, so I let them know all members are required to wear certain regalia, right? I may mention the fez of the Moors, turban of the Sultan, because these are what they're called. The niqab, the khimar, the shemach, the ures. I mentioned a lot of different things, right? But all members are required to wear these things. Why? Because your culturally, you are identified through your culture, right? Some Muslims are identified by their beard, right? They wear long beard, long lihya, right, and trim mustache. And then you have Jews, those who are recognized as Jews, and they have long beard, right, but they don't shave their mustache, right? Well, the Moorish Americans have fez. We shave, all right. To us, that's not a restriction for the Moorish American Muslims, right? It is not. Your beard is not a qualification of your Islamicness. It's just not. All right. Some people can't even wear beard. But anyway, I made mention of those. So all members are required to wear such and such and such. Why did I do that? So that when I got my picture taken, there would be no issue, right, with me wearing it. Understand that when you wear certain things in identification photos, right, they have to be for religious purposes. I can't just wear a Steelers baseball cap in my passport picture. Right? I can't wear a pair of Gucci shades in my passport picture. These are not cultural items. Right? But my fez, or again, a Muslim woman from, we'll say, Saudi Arabia, right? Well, I don't know how they really get down. Well, so a Muslim man from Saudi Arabia, right? He might have his head wrapped in a shemagh, right? He might have a kufi on in his picture. Why? Because this is religious. This is your religious freedom, your First Amendment right, religious freedom to be identified socially in every other way, right? Under your religious identification, because your religion is your economic security. Your religion is your trust law. All right. I said that all members. What did I say? All members are required to wear. Yeah. All members are required to annex Moorish title to surname. Right. Again, mine was already done. Right, but this is something that is within the Moorish Divine and National Movement, where all of the members, right, took on the title of El, or Bey, or Ali. Just those three. Just those three, all right, are most recognized within this movement. All right, the Owls, the Days, and the Pashas, the Effendis, right, the Mohammeds. These are also Moorish titles, indeed. But specifically with this man's movement, he's saying, hey, this nation, this group of people, right, when they pledge, they are known by their L's and their Bays, their titles, right? So I made that a mention. Why? Because again, I have Davis L on my passport, but Davis L is not on my birth certificate. Davis is on my birth certificate. I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't have to change that. I just have to make sure again that the account record, the Social Security, and this passport info, these two accounts, this account matches the debitor and the creditor of the account. The names match. All right. Yeah, man, that light is killing it, right? And my last statement was, I am a free national citizen of this free national government of the United States of America, right? I signed and dated that in front of an authorized official at the post office when applying for my passport. I received my passport, book and card. I have worked with my passport. I know for a fact that there were no federal withholdings. And it wasn't because I put in some extra other stuff over here or brought the attention. No. All of that came with the use of this passport number. Internally, the system already did that. As well, when I was when the background clearance came back for this job, nothing that was identified with my birth certificate person came up. It came up completely clean. Now, I know for a fact that in 1999, I was arrested, and in 2000, I was convicted of armed robbery. And I served 7 years for that. None of that came up, right? During the time that the background clearance was going on, I was also in litigation, right? Because I was still trying to fight the system, and I was out here traveling in my car. My car is gone. Understand, my car is gone, right? And I have to accept that. That's the justice that came out of that, right? But I know better now. Anywho, none of that information came up just because I used the passport number rather than the Social Security. These are things that I can tell you for certain, right? I've also been able to utilize the passport number for tax exemptions, sales tax exemptions as well. So there is a taxpayer exemption applicable through this card. I still pay into state taxes. Why? Because I've nationalized. I've pledged everything to the state. All right? And I've pledged it to the national government. And so again, federally, I'm not audited. State-wise, I'm audited. I'm not getting audited by the state and the federal. The federal is not overseeing me unless I go and I contract with the Social Security number. Right? That corrects my status, right? Commercially. Commercially, I'm able to do certain things. And now I should be able, now that I know that the background that used to be, now that I know that I have a clean slate, I could go and run for governor, run for this, run for that, and have standing. I have standing. When you have your passport, you're supposed to do everything with that information, right? And you don't use your Social Security number, right? The only time that you would use your Social Security number, as opposed to your nationality card number, is for verification purposes. Verification purposes. So before I got my Social Security person or my minority person had my title annexed to it, right? I filed for unemployment using my passport because I had used the passport. I didn't use the social, right? And it came back to me. I was required to give them the Social Security number. Now, the first thing in my mind was, how do you even have my Social Security number, right? I didn't even use it. And it dawned on me later, nigga, you filed an unemployment claim, they're gonna have it. They gotta have it, right? Anyway, the lady told me that the reason why they required my Social Security number is because the name on the passport and the name on the social security card did not match. So I learned then that if the names do not match, if there is any unbalance in the accounts, they're going to default to the main account. And again, the main account said Davis on it, did not say Davis L. Right? And so I had to file that claim under the SOC, which caused an audit, but for benefits that I was receiving in the public under the SOC. Now, the whole time that I was working with the passport, I was also collecting SNAP assistance, food stamp assistance, and cash assistance, right? And it never set off until I filed that claim with the unemployment office, and I had to give the SOC because I did not get the bypass because the names were not the same. If my title had been on my social security card, then there would have been no, there should not have been a set off in audit, right? Because it would not have gone to the social security number. It would have went registered under the passport number. The social security number is your public information. That's your personal public. Your passport, that's your private republic. That's your republic. You can go out in the world with security over your person. And understand that when you get your passport and you're doing it correctly, you're using the same information that people tell you, oh, when you use that, right, you don't want to use that because that's how they track you. Listen, this is the honor system that I'm on, right? So this is the equity. I have to do it to give it, right? So I gave the SOC, right? And again, I used the passport number. And like I said, I should have received the bypass, or you'll receive the bypass. Why? Right. Because you have the protections. You have the private provisions, permissions, authorizations, jurisdictions, right? You have that clearance, right? Fourth Amendment, the right of we the people to be secure in our persons. You have that security. Whatever's going on in your public will not come out mainstream unless you have a felony. This is what I've learned. Anything outside of a felony charge, right, will not void your passport. Anything outside of a federal indictment, or something that's worth a federal indictment, anything outside of a felony charge, right, you'll be able to maintain your passport. So what does that mean? That means that my social security, all of my public information, it's in that database. It's in that database, right? But it is protected. It is shielded, right? Until and unless a real indictment, a real presentment, right, comes out. Once you have a felony charge, until that felony is taken care of, you're on restriction, you're on revocation. So if you caught a felony charge, I'm not saying that you were guilty of it, but if you're understand that if you're catching felony charges, there's never, it's very rare that a felony charge can be accidental. I can't be sitting in my house and the police just come knocking on my door and say, hey, yeah, there was a car crash right up the street, a vehicular homicide, right? And we're taking you in for questioning. How? I don't even have a car, motherfucker. Right? So felony charges, those are the one thing, that is the one thing that will revoke or restrict your authorization. I'm aware of some individuals, acquaintances close to me, right? They had a misunderstanding, in constitutional application. The brother had his wife was licensed, legally licensed to carry. He wasn't. His minority person, like mine's, had already served time. His was on gun charges. Long story short, um, they revoked her passport. I helped her get her passport. Right. Her passport was revoked because she was charged with um, basically allowing for her husband, whose information had not been corrected yet, right? Who is identified publicly as a person not to have firearms, right? They attempted because her husband was being so active, they were charging her too, and they were like, "Hey, look!" They hit her with the charge saying that she was buying these things for him. So they stopped her passport. But once everything became situated, right, and she was no longer, the charges were withdrawn. She was able to proceed again, right? So that's the honor system, right? Somebody says I owe, I don't say I don't owe. I say, oh, here I come. Now show me, right? Again, we do what Jesus do out here. Jesus didn't argue when they said, hey, this, that, and the third. He ain't argue with anybody, right? He got dragged down the street, and everybody throwing all of those lies against on him. Not even though Jesus spoke only to who? Justice. He spoke only to the judge. He said, all right, look, I'm here. I'm here. And what did he say? He said, I'm perfected. He gave it up. Hey, look, if if it belongs to you, take it. He gave up his word. He gave his word. He gave up the ghost. My word is my bond. In the public, it looked like he was persecuted in the public. But if you understand the whole story in his trial, he was redeemed and let go in the private. 3 days later, 72 hours. It's like processing. It takes 72 hours for a debit to be cleared as a credit. Right? 3 to 7 days. They'll tell you 3 to 7 days, maybe. It takes about 3 days. All right. This is not to get out of anything. This is to get into it. Right? You can do business with your passport. You can obtain items with your passport. I'm going to attempt to get my driver's license with my passport. All right, why not? It's a national ID. It's the highest form of ID in the land, right? If you look on any form, it basically tells you on any form asked for ID. They'll talk about list A and then list B and C, and any item on list A or list 1, all you need is just that one document. That's the passport. So I need to have my passport and evidence that the passport number is used and attached to an actual address. Well, I have that from my W-2. So I'm going to take all of that information, right, and apply for a passport. For a license. Well, why am I getting the license? I'm investing into my state. That's what it's for. It's an investment. If you don't wish to invest in it, find other means of transportation. All right? But I'm going to see if I can get my driver's license with my passport, knowing that the Social Security person, I've never applied for a driver's license, but I did apply for a state ID. And here in Pennsylvania, you get your state ID at the Department of Motor Vehicles. All right. So the state identification, the number that is associated or affiliated with your state ID is also associated with your driver's license. All right. So I know that there's a year suspension under that Social Security number identity, state ID identity. So I know that my passport is another person. So why not go and see if I can go and actually get a driver's license? This would be evidence to show further, right, in my research that again, by entering into the government, right, and being one with the government, you are safe. I'm not afraid to go in. Hey, look, I was told to leave all old business as it is, that's the Social Security, and do all new business in my free national name. The only ID that I have with my free national name, USA, on it, right, is my passport. I don't think that my state ID, it may, but I know for specifically that my passport was issued by the United States of America and not by Pennsylvania. But I know that the state, the DMV issued me, and that's not a government entity, right? But the DMV issued me the state ID, and an actual governing body issued me the passport. So, and there's other things that you can, if you can think about it, right? Your Second Amendment rights, you can go and secure your Second Amendment rights as well with that passport. Again, get the license. Do all your business with your passport, right? And live the life accordingly. Be held accountable. There's no reason to go and use other information unless you intend to do something out of pocket. Why wouldn't I give the information? Oh, I don't want to give it to them because they might. Okay, it's national security. You got to believe in your government. You got to believe in the capacity of yourself and your people surrounding you to establish and ordain those things necessary for the people to sustain and maintain whatever conditions they desire. But nationalizing, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, and you have to pay into it, right? So my dues are paid up 10 years. My passport you have a 10-year stretch, right? Your passport is valid for 10 years. So I paid up 10 years in advance to be recognized, to be able to commercially apply myself out here in the land or on any continent, right? And because those dues are paid up, right? Again, I'm a card carrying member. I'm a card carrying member of the American administration, right? Of the three branches, right? All people now must worship under their own vine and fig tree. And I'm under these three branches. Absolutely. Right? Well, I did not intend to go into all of that because I did go into all of that, but that's what the Spirit brought to me. That's what I've given you today. I appreciate you all who are still here at this particular moment, right? Y'all take care.